Halloween. This is an R-rated horror slasher movie coming out in 1978 and 1 hour and 35 minutes long. The story of this is basically 15 years after murdering his sister on Halloween, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital to return to a small town and kill again. Straight on to the good points. Now, the good points about this movie is the thing I find with this movie which makes it so unique and still hold up today is the message behind the story, which is pretty much how can giving in to evil really affect somebody? That's the purpose behind this movie, because Michael Myers generally was obviously a good person before obviously he became Michael Myers as we know him. So how can this affect somebody? And the way obviously we see it happen in this movies and further on throughout the franchise still remains interesting to a lot of people. I don't feel like a lot of movies generally use that backstory. Now, the opening scene of this movie is epic. One of the best, most shocking opening scenes of all time. Just the reveal on how they made it happen, which goes on to my next point of the cinematography, the camera work, the way the camera used. Obviously, you can tell the difference from then to nowadays, but really how they made it work. How they made Michael Myers, obviously POV shots, really look like he was an adult, not a kid. The whole shocking reveal behind it was just really perfect. Really, really well done. Alongside that is the lighting. I feel like the lighting, even though a lot of it was natural lighting, I feel like they really used it appropriately. Especially in some of the shots where you could see Michael Myers' face in a dark room and stuff like that. They really used the lighting well, which really caused a lot of terror, a lot of panic, a lot of suspense and tension. All the things you need in a horror movie. Now, another thing I want to give a lot of credit to is the director and screenplay writer John Carpenter. He's absolute genius. He sprinkles all of his magic in this movie. This is by far his best production. Now, the score is spine-tingling, chilling, and really fits the purpose of this movie. It's one of the best iconic soundtracks and scores of all time. It really, really is. And it's made by John Carpenter, the man himself, who actually come out and said he couldn't even play a key or a note. This actually proves him wrong. He actually made something that still is played today and loved today. Is absolutely incredible. And one thing I really appreciate when I watch this movie is the ambition behind it. There's something I've always appreciated, because if you think about it, how they use the background, how they use the camera when it means things being out of focus and in focus, how they also use a small budget to create something so big in this Halloween movie. I just really have learned to really appreciate it and love this movie for what it really is. And it's the fact that it's gone through many generations, from the 70s to the 80s, all the way through up until now, and still holds up today. It's just absolutely amazing. The tone in this movie, I think, is perfect. We start off with the mystery of the movie is pretty much, where is Michael Myers? Where's he going to come from? Who's he going to kill next? These are all these little mysteries that go through the movie, and it's really well made. Alongside that, we have the atmosphere. Obviously, it being set on nighttime, Halloween. Obviously, many people are dressed up, so you really obviously got the atmosphere of where is he, who is he gonna, how's he gonna dress, and some people may not even expect him coming. So it does set the mood and the atmosphere there. Alongside that, the tone overall really throughout, it's just really great. It really generally scared a lot of people when the time of this released. I just feel like all these three things come together and really create a perfect horror movie. Pacing of the movie, we get straight into there with the opening scene. Really opens up the story perfectly. Shocking reveal. Then we just don't stop until we get to the end of the movie, which we still want to see the next one because of how it's left on that cliffhanger. Is absolutely perfectly paced all the way through. Another thing I loved about this movie is the story. It's so basic, so simple, but from beginning to end is really enjoyable and just perfect. Really it is. And the way they mix these two characters together in Laurie and obviously Michael Myers, two total different people, one evil, one good, and the way they meet, how they meet, with the purpose behind them, and everything just around it just really is perfect. Then we go on to the performances from the cast. One person who absolutely stand out in this movie is the character of Loomis, obviously played by Donald Pleasence. He's by far the best performer in this movie. Some of the quotes that he says in this movie are just spine-tingling. The way he obviously knew Michael as a young boy, and some of the conversation he had is just really powerful and really comes across really experienced balanced and well handled. It's somewhat one of the best scenes I've seen in a horror movie. Then we go on to the character of Laurie, obviously played by Jamie Lee Curtis. In my opinion, this is not one of her best performances, but this is a movie which obviously got her name out there. She's still done a decent job, especially when it comes to acting terrified. I still feel like she could have done a lot worse than what she did, so she does deserve some credit in the performances. And of course we have the iconic character, the man himself, Michael Myers. Now obviously I'm not going to talk about an actor and his performance, but the character itself, we have to start talking about the mask. Now the mask was made by a cheap budget mask, which they cut the eyes out of, painted white, and done a couple of bits to it, which really just terrified tons of people, and still does today. It's so iconic for what it is, which is really a cheap mask. That is just so great, but the way Michael wears it, the reason he wears it, and everything behind that mask is truly terrifying. Also the physique of the man, obviously as a young boy, the mental state behind the young boy is just completely gone, if you know what I mean. The whole reason of how he turned and why he turned is still a mystery to many people, because the guy don't talk. That's what's just so intimidating about him. But then obviously the physique of the character as he grows and gets older, he's just so strong. And that's just the thing. And it just leads to some really great kills and to some really great moments with this character. And the thing I love about Michael Myers is he don't have to run. He knows he's going to get you. He'll walk, he'll literally crawl towards you and still catch you, because he knows how he's going to kill you. He's planned 10 steps ahead before you've even thought about it. By far, my favourite scene in this movie has to be the moment where Laurie is looking out of her window. She's obviously been followed, he's disappeared, he's nowhere to be seen. So she goes home, she looks out of her window, and he's staring at her through the clothesline, and it's completely terrifying. One of the most spine-tingling moments I've ever experienced watching a horror movie. Now on to the bad points. Now the bad points about this movie is, yes, there's a few. They're little nitpicky ones, they're not really affecting the film massively. The first thing first is the acting. Some of the side characters in this movie, obviously I've spoke about some, obviously Laurie being an average performance in my opinion, obviously Loomis being a great performance in overall, but some of the side characters in Laurie's friends, some of them I found it was a bit lazy, some of them I found a bit over dramatic. There was just a bit of a mixture there, and for a low budget film you have to expect some flaws, of course. Sound effects and some of the sounds and how they used them, I felt that some of it again over the top or sometimes overused. Due to the low budget you have to expect again. Some of the kills in this movie haven't really aged well, and the reason I mean behind this is because if you look at the stuff nowadays, how gory, how terrifying, how really horrible some of these kills are nowadays. Of course you get some great kills in there, you get some obviously strangles, you get some gunfire and stabbings and God knows what have you when it comes to Michael Myers, but really the stuff that we can do nowadays really is so much better obviously than what we get here. Guys, it's rating time. Let's have a look what the critics had to rate this movie. We have IMDb giving it a 7.8 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes giving it a 96%, and Metacritic giving it a 81. My rating for this movie is a 9.5 out of 10. That makes this an amazing movie. Overall, guys, this movie I watch many times throughout the year. I can't get bored of it. I love the character Michael Myers. I love everything behind the movie. It's an absolute classic for the horror genre, and it's just complete tons of fun. It's one of them ones you're not sitting there biting your nails anymore, because obviously it was made a long time ago. There's a lot more difference in the amount of scariness behind it, but still holds that little bit of terrifying, spine-tingling tension stuff, which really gets you invested in it. Michael Myers killing people is something I don't think I'll ever get tired of. Hang on a minute, that makes me sound like a psycho. So guys, a 9.5 out of 10 for Halloween. What do you guys think of it? What do you guys rate it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know all in the comment section down below, of course. Let's get into a great discussion. Guys, if you want to vote on the poll for the next horror movie review coming up on the channel, you can go on my Twitter at jspringit94. I'll leave a poll on the channel for the next horror review. You guys can get involved and let me know what you guys want on the channel. And if you have not got Twitter, do not worry. Click the little I button on the top right hand corner of the video. It'll take you to a poll where you can vote on there as well on my YouTube channel. Also guys, don't forget to check out all the stuff on the channel. I've also reviewed The Witch, The Shining and The Exorcist on my channel as well, which you guys ain't gonna want to miss for sure. So thank you very much guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you next time guys on Talking with Jay Springett.